Okay, great. So I'm going to share my screen, then we can get started. Just a second. I just want to confirm if you guys can see my screen right now. You should be seeing a PowerPoint. Any verbal confirmation would be helpful.
Yes.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, and you see the screen, you see the title screen, you don't see any notes.
Get a title screen, no notes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, great. So survey year with NYC Service. So let's get into it. Oh, I will also ask that if you have any questions, you can feel free to leave them in the chat. We'll get to them at the end of we'll get to them at the end of the information session. So just kind of going over the agenda as to like what we will be reviewing today. We're going to be going over a short presentation about our AmeriCorps programs and what we do here at NYC Service. And then you're going to be hearing from some of our AmeriCorps alums, so people who have served in our program and have kind of moved on, and just kind of hearing from them about their experience. And then we're going to do a little Q&A with the alums and myself to answer any questions that you may have. So starting off, kind of like what is AmeriCorps? So AmeriCorps is a federal program that is a federal agency, I should say, that encourages volunteerism and public service and community engagement across the US. And so AmeriCorps has a bunch of different programs and chapters all over the US. However, we here at NYC Service, we kind of focus on the New York City area. And so all of our projects are based in the city, which is exciting. So overall, AmeriCorps has more than 75,000 members join across the US each year to tackle a bunch of different issues in a lot of different ways. So for example, some of the things that AmeriCorps members do is help families obtain affordable housing, mentor students towards on-time graduation, and respond to natural disasters. And we also kind of do those things here at NYC Service as well in our programs. So AmeriCorps, so kind of like what would an AmeriCorps service term look like? So AmeriCorps is for our programs. NYC Services AmeriCorps programs are typically 10 months to 1 year. And we offer a wide range of programming, focusing on a bunch of different areas, which we'll get to in the next slide, but they kind of focus on a lot of different fields. So there's really something for everybody. They're in a year of service, you should definitely expect to gain leadership experience. You'll get the opportunity to take the lead and initiatives on certain projects that you're tasked with. You'll also have the opportunity to serve locally in the city. You know, a lot of people come to New York City to kind of like, live their life and explore, find themselves and things like that. And so you'd be able to do the year of service in New York City and really give back to New Yorkers. And then finally, you should also expect to advance local solutions. So kind of getting back to that, like serving the New York City community. If you're a native New Yorker, it's kind of like New Yorkers serving New Yorkers. So that's exciting. And you'll also get a stipend as well to help pay for school or for student loans and things like that. So I kind of touched on this before in terms of like our partners in the different fields that they work in. AmeriCorps overall and our AmeriCorps programs as well have like 6 main focus areas. So things like disaster response, economic opportunity, education, environmental stewardship, healthy futures, and serving veterans and military families. And so, like I said, there really is something for everyone in each one of our programs. So some of the things that you could do in an NYC Service AmeriCorps program are the following. You could be building volunteer capacity at a local nonprofit. You could be developing new programming at a city agency. You could be doing some community engagement with New York City residents to get them involved in their communities and get them access to certain programs that the city puts on. You could be doing something like doing trainings, research, data analysis, program management, people management, a lot of different things, could be doing a lot of different projects that can get you a lot of different transferable skills, basically. So moving on to our programming, like I said, we have 4 different programs that NYC Service administers. So we have our NYCHA Health Corps program, which is all about it's our public health AmeriCorps program. So it's all about public health and promoting public health initiatives across public housing developments. Our NYCHA Health Corps applications actually open tomorrow. So we have the positions up on our website right now. So you can see what might be of interest to you if this is something that you're interested in.
Sorry.
We also have our City Service Corps programs, which is a program that works exclusively with city agencies to engage communities to engage New York City residents to provide them better access to different New York City like benefits programs and other kinds of community engagement work, I mean. And then we have our NYC Civic Corps program, which is all about working with nonprofits. So we work exclusively with nonprofits here in the city to help them build their capacity, to help them build their volunteer capacity. So working to develop, manage, and train volunteers in their nonprofits to help continue the good work that they're doing. And then finally, we have our NYC VISTA program. It is a program that works exclusively with city agencies to advance their anti-poverty initiatives. And so it's also our longest program at 12 months, but we can get into service term length and all of that in our next slides. So I'm just gonna do a quick another quick overview of City Service Corps and the other programs that we offer as well. So like I said, the mission of City Service Corps is really to partner with city agencies to address critical local needs through direct engagement with residents and help with the development of new programming and management of resident-facing programs. Like the overall goal of City Service Corps is really to get New Yorkers a better understanding of and access to different programs designed to positively impact their quality of life. So that could be getting them access to maybe SNAP, for example, or access to healthcare, things like that. In terms of like a member service, you could be doing like basically three main things, or the three skills you would be developing during your service term would be things like community engagement. So doing outreach and trainings, you could be doing project implementation support and project development support. So doing more of that like project management, taking that project management kind of skill and taking on more of that leadership role. Our City Service Corps program is 10 months long. It starts on September 1st of this year and ends on June 30th, 2024. And this, so it's about 10 months. And our applications are currently open. We're accepting applications for City Service Corps and they close on June 30th. This is just kind of a list of the City Service Corps host sites that we have. So these are the different city agencies that we partnered with this year and that all have positions that are yours for the taking. So then I'm going to move on now to our NYC Civic Corps program, which is all about working with nonprofits and helping to develop their volunteer program capacity. So yeah, the kind of like the vision for Civic Corps is to help nonprofits have a more robust volunteer recruitment, training, and management programs, and basically allowing them to better serve their community through their volunteerism and through their volunteer program. In terms of like the skills that a member could gain during their service term is things like I would say there's a lot of leadership and project management and people management involved. Also, you could be doing things like communications work, other kinds of community engagement work as well. So there's definitely like a public facing role to it, and also like a more of a behind the scenes role since you're helping to manage, helping to train, manage, and recruit volunteers. I would say one of the things with Civic Corps to be aware of is that you yourself are not doing like that kind of direct service. So for example, if you're working with an education nonprofit and this nonprofit works works with tutors to like tutor like seventh graders, for example, a Civic Corps member would be doing more of that behind the scenes work. So they wouldn't be the ones doing the tutoring. They would be the ones recruiting the tutors to do that work. So there is like kind of like that line between like behind the scenes work and that capacity building work, and then the direct engagement as well. The direct engagement more comes with like the recruiting volunteers and partnering with different organizations and things like that. Civic Corps is 10 months long. It has the same program. Somebody is, sorry, I just realized somebody is kind of drawing on the PowerPoint. Anyways, the service term is about 10 months long. Same September 1st of this year to June 30th, and our applications are closing on June 30th. So we're still accepting applications. And this is just the very long list of our Civic Corps host sites. We have definitely a lot to choose from. So yeah, and they all focus on different things. Like we have ones that focus on public health, ones that focus on food security, disaster response services, things like that. So yeah, definitely a lot to choose from. And then finally, we have our NYC VISTA program, wait, this is not our last program, I just realized. But yes, we have our NYC VISTA program, which is a program that exclusively works with city agencies to advance their anti-poverty initiatives. And so the vision of this is to get New Yorkers more access to city services to help improve their quality of life and rise them out of poverty. NYC VISTA is different from our City Service Corps program in the sense that in a few different ways, but one of the biggest ones is that NYC VISTA members do not do any kind of direct service. So you would not be going out into the community interacting with people who would be receiving benefits. So you wouldn't be interacting with somebody who is receiving SNAP benefits, for example. You would be doing a lot of the behind the scenes work to really you would be doing the behind the scenes work and laying the groundwork to kind of like get those kinds of programs and projects launched. VISTA is also different from City Service Corps in terms of the service term length because our program is a year long, basically. VISTA is a year long and it starts sooner than City Service Corps. It starts on July 31st and ends on August 2nd, 2024. VISTA is also, we're on a bit of a tighter timeline with VISTA. Our applications, the last day we would accept applications is June 1st. And so, yeah, I definitely say if you check out our webpage and go to our VISTA page and see the available positions and you see something you like, I would definitely encourage you to apply sooner rather than later, just to ensure that you have a spot in our phone screening schedule and things like that and go out for interviews. I should also note that a fun fact that I failed to mention when I was introducing myself is that I actually am an alum of the NYC VISTA program. So yeah, I served in 2021 and it was a great year. I loved it. These are our list of NYC VISTA host sites for this program year. Yeah, we have a lot of different positions under each agency, so definitely something for everyone. And then finally, we have our NYCHA Health Corps program. Our NYCHA Health Corps program is our newest program, and it's a public health AmeriCorps program. And so it was really like born out of the pandemic to ensure that people who live in, to ensure that those who live in public housing developments have equal access to like health resources and things like that. So really working to advance, our members really work to advance the public health initiatives that the city is putting out or that that NYCHA is putting out to ensure that just people have access to those resources. And so in terms of like skills that you could be developing as a NYCHA member, you would be kind of doing a mix of direct service and capacity building. So you could be doing something like community engagement, you could be doing project implementation, project development support, things like that. NYCHA Health Corps is a 10-month-long program starting on September 1st of this year to June, and it ends on June 30th, 2024. Our NYCHA Health Corps applications are actually opening tomorrow, and they're going to close on June 30th. So I recommend that if you go on our webpage and go see our NYCHA positions, and you find something you like, definitely get started on your application sooner rather than later. For all of our programs, we accept applications on a rolling basis. So yeah, definitely it kind of is like more of a first come, first serve in that sense. But yeah, there will definitely be positions. There are definitely positions now on the site. So if you see something you like, definitely start that application. And these are some of the host sites that we're partnering with this year. Which is exciting. So I'm going to move on to like the benefits of being an AmeriCorps member with NYC service. So first of all of our positions are paid. If you are an AmeriCorps member, you will receive a stipend. It varies depending on the program. So if you're in the City Service Corps or Civic Corps, you'd be receiving a $21,000 stipend for the year. NYCHA Health Corps is a little bit higher at $23,800, and then NYC VISTA is our highest paying program. I mean, it has the highest stipend. It's $24,669.12. Yeah, this is also our longest program, so that kind of explains that. And you receive the stipend biweekly. Another benefit of being an AmeriCorps member is that you receive an end of service education award. So it's actually called the Segal AmeriCorps Education Award, and it's valued between $4,826 to almost $7,000. And you can use that to repay qualified student loans. You could use it to pay for a graduate degree, a data boot camp, anything related to education. You can use that award to kind of pay for that, which is really cool. NYC Service also offers a wide variety of professional development opportunities. And you kind of get that professional development and networking opportunities every day at your host site, but NYC Service does also put on things like networking events that we do, professional development trainings. We offer certifications and things like Microsoft Office. So there you can also have that. There's also that added benefit. We also offer healthcare, and another fun part of our program is that we offer free monthly Metro cards to all of our members to get to and from service. But you can use it for other things too. Yeah, I know I did. In terms of how to apply, so all of our positions are up on our website right now. It's possible that in the near future we could be adding more. But right now, the majority, most, if not all of our positions are currently up on our website. So you could just go to nyc.gov/serve-NYC and see, you can kind of look over the different programs that we have and see which one is the best one for you. And from there, if you're interested in VISTA, for example, you can go click on VISTA and check out the different positions that we have and start your application from there. So yeah, our applications are online, and so you can just submit your application there, and then we'll get back to you within 2 weeks of submitting your application to schedule you for a phone screen, and you'll kind of go through the interviewing process with us to ensure your eligibility as an AmeriCorps member, and then we can send you off to a host site interview. Yeah, so that's kind of what happens like in that in-between stage. And then finally, if you're given an offer by the host site that you interview with, you would begin your service, and we would start the onboarding process to get you to become an AmeriCorps member. In terms of like what life looks like after service, I just put some stats here that we have. So 28% are more likely to keep informed about public issues, 22% are more likely to volunteer, 30% are more likely to donate to a cause, and 15% are more likely to participate in community organizations. So kind of the gist of it is that a lot of AmeriCorps alumni remain civically engaged after their service year ends, which is really great. I would like to add that a more NYC service specific statistic is that 30% of our members actually get hired on by their host site after the service year ends. So they go from being an AmeriCorps member to full-time staff. And NYC Service also offers other opportunities to help people kind of remain engaged, with service. Like for example, we have our fellowship program. So that's kind of like the path that I took. I did my VISTA year, and then I kind of moved on to the fellowship. And so that's kind of what I'm doing now, just working to support the program. So that's really cool as well. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to hear from some of our AmeriCorps alum. So I have on the call Al Edouard and Michelle Belize, who are City Service Corps alums. They served in different years, but I can let them talk more about like their service and what they've done. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to kind of like give the floor to them. So Michelle and Al, raise your hands, like virtually, I guess. Oh, sorry. Where's Al? I'm just gonna like see if I can pin him.
Oh, thanks, Joanne. Hi, everyone. My name is Al Edouard.
Yeah. Go ahead, Al. Sorry.
I'm the Senior National Service Program Coordinator here at NYC Service. In terms of like my overall experience within the program, I served in 2019 at the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs. I would say when it comes to City Service Corps, the focus is really to add value and build capacity for a city agency. So if you're someone that's interested in government, who's interested in, working directly with the community and also understanding how government itself works, I would definitely recommend, doing almost a year of service, with City Service Corps. I was able to connect with vast different groups from city agencies to CBOs, as well as do really amazing work. I can speak on one specific project that I worked on was with IDNYC. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that. It's the identification card that anyone has access to, regardless of immigration status or housing situation or social or economic standing throughout the city. And I was tasked actually running the campaign for the 5-year anniversary. And I thought that it was really a great achievement, the ability to partner with not only other city agencies, but with elected officials. So that was sort of like my, my project for the year, working with electeds, working with CBOs, working with local libraries to, push this initiative to encourage individuals to, sign up for the card, renew their card, or to just get more information about the resources around the city. And that was a really great event. We hosted over a dozen throughout the 5 boroughs. I got to partner with elected officials at all 3 levels. It's really a great experience to be able to plan and organize an event with, your local congressman or woman or your local city council rep. So it was really all in all a great experience to give back to my community and also learn about city government in itself. So that's just a little bit about, my overall experience. I don't know if you want me to pass it on to Michelle or
Yeah,
to
Al,
take
I
any
was
questions.
yeah, Al, I was gonna ask you to pause so I could pass it so you can pass it on to Michelle. I will also add that I will be asking you additional questions. So there are more questions coming from me. So, but yeah, Michelle, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I see some familiar faces. Hi to my members and everyone else for being here. I did city service in 2018 through 2019, right after college. I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I waited till the very last day to apply, and unfortunately, the positions that I wanted were fulfilled. So I had actually been interviewed for a position that I didn't even put on my application. So this is why it's important to apply early, because it's a first come first served. So definitely, if you see something that interests you, I encourage you to apply right away. You don't want to be like me, who interviewed for a position that they were not interested in at first, but I ended up loving my host site. So uh, that just shows that you just have to come with an open eye. And I was placed at the Department of Social Services as a community engagement member. So what I had focused on was just helping the community engagement team do trainings and presentations on case management tools that for public benefits. And what they were trying to do is just raise awareness about this tool, specifically since it had came out during that year. And yeah, I loved my host site. Definitely like the staff that I work with ended up being my mentors, and I still keep in contact with them to this day. And yeah, I just learned a lot. Definitely focused on public speaking, which is something that I've struggled with since like the beginning of time. But through them, I was actually able to focus on public speaking and conquering my fears of public speaking. But yeah, we just focused on outreach, and I ended up doing a big research project for them, summarizing feedback from the trainings that we received. So for them to make recommendations and changes to their trainings. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, great. Thank you both for kind of touching on like the service that you did and like kind of like the day-to-day work that you were doing and also like the bigger projects that you were supporting. So my next question for you guys is, and yeah, my next question for you guys is, so kind of like where did you go after your service term ended, and how do you feel like your service term prepared you for that next step or that next chapter in your life? We can start with Al.
Sure. So after my year of service, I went into nonprofit, working with a local nonprofit that was supporting the Project Hope program during COVID-19. I think in terms of like, I was able to leverage my experience in city government. I think really be selective when it comes to the host that you want to serve at and the work that you want to do. Was, not to brag, but I did receive multiple offers from different, nonprofits because they were impressed by the work that I did, or just by the, my host site, the fact that I served, under the mayor's office, and hearing about, my ability to work on multiple projects that had real meaningful impact on the community. So that was my route, after my service, going into nonprofit, because I remember this was during the start of COVID. I really wanted to give back to my city and my community. And I thought that nonprofit was the best place to do that.
Great, thanks, Al. What about you, Michelle? Just to repeat the question, where did you go after your service term, and how did you feel like your service term helped prepare you for your next step, or that next chapter in your life?
Yeah, so to be honest about my experience, I wasn't someone who was sure what they wanted to do after, just because I had multiple interests, but I did want to focus on doing outreach, some sort of engagement with the community. So what I did is just that I took the time after my service year to just apply for jobs, you know, not to be stressed, just to like take my time and figure what I wanted. So what I did was I was just applying to jobs that were focused on community engagement, also focused on like program support, and luckily through my host site, through like the staff, they were actually able to refer me to a couple of positions that I had applied for, you know, assisting me in the application process for a real-time employment. And I was actually given an offer to be a community engagement associate at the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection. So that was definitely similar work. It was just doing outreach, but also there was more a little bit more tasks, as in it's a different city agency, so the missions definitely changed. And I was with that position for about 3 years, and now I'm at NYC service, going back to my main roots, which is supporting the NYCHA Health Corps program.
Great, thank you both. I guess for my final question, so what part of your service term did you enjoy the most, or like which parts of your service term did you enjoy the most, and what were some of the challenges? Because like any position, every position has like positives, but there's also challenges that come with it, every position. So what would you say were like those parts that you really enjoyed, and then what were some of those challenges as well? Al, we can stick with you going first.
I would say doing real life work that had a real impact on, residents of our city. Excuse me. I think oftentimes like the work that we do may have no real impact, or you don't see the value in it. And when you do a year of national service with AmeriCorps, you actually do see that impact. You hear the great stories from the residents that you connect with. You hear people tell you, thank you for your work. You hear people talk about, oh, because of the resource you were able to connect me with, I was able to, find housing, or, I was able to feed my young child. So just like hearing those great stories and knowing that you were able to be a part of that because of your work and because of your service. I would say that the most challenging thing is, I would say, pacing yourself and not, overworking yourself. There's so much work to be done in the city, and your communities. And I think oftentimes the fact that you have 10 months, you want to make sure that you don't overdo it and you don't have that burnout, because you want to ensure that you're doing real meaningful work that is at a high level throughout your 10 months. So just being mindful that yes, you can do a lot, but you can't do everything during your service at your host site. Michelle?
Yeah. For me, one of the challenges that I had during my service year was, I think, just trying to narrow down like what my interests were. Because like I said, I had a lot of different things that I was focused on. And that kind of created some anxiety, right? Because I thought that I would have to go through that transition process alone. But then what assisted me in that process was that me reaching out to like my supervisor for help, right? Getting guidance on like cover letter writing, resume, uh, getting that professional guidance that I needed and like direction. Just because I know that when you're enjoying your host site, right, the year flies by really quick, and sometimes like thinking about the next step could be scary. So I definitely just like if you do encounter that as a potential member, it's just so that that you have support out there. It could be reaching out to your program coordinator, right, reaching out to your supervisor, or like get this any staff member that you work with directly at your host site to support you, and also to know that they also serve as a resource for you as well. So I would say that was just like one of like my challenges. But when it came to like successes, just learning about many different skill sets, right? Definitely strengthening like my Excel skills because I was so rusty at Excel. Just learning how to be like interpersonal, right? Definitely understanding how like office environment is different than working in retail, which was something I was doing beforehand, right? So I definitely had a lot of personal development in that and just adapting to a whole new work environment. But yeah, but I would say it's definitely a learning experience for if as a member, and still today, I'm still learning as well. And yeah, I'm just like grateful to have that experience because I think without it, I wouldn't be to where I am now. So yeah.
Cool, thanks, Michelle. So I think what we'll do now is we'll start taking questions, questions from the audience. So actually, let me pin my screen as well, so that way we can like kind of like all answer questions. So yeah, definitely if you have any questions you can drop them in the chat or you can come off mute and then we would be happy to answer. In terms of the chat, let's see, I see people were commenting. So let's see, how can we access the application? The link through the Mark's Career Services does not seem to work. Okay, first of all, apologies for that. I didn't realize that there was an error on the Baruch website. I believe that's what Mark's Career Services Center is. That's the college that it belongs to. But you can access our application at any time at nyc.gov/serve NYC. I'll put it in the chat. Serve NYC. There you'll have the opportunity on that webpage, you'll have the opportunity to view all of our available positions and all of the different programs that we offer. So you can do your own research and kind of see what might be the best program for you. And you can apply directly on our site. So you could apply through there. I saw that we had a few other questions. Do you need to be a student to apply? I see Al already answered it, but you just need to be over 18 years old, 18 years or older to apply to AmeriCorps. AmeriCorps is really a program for anybody who wants to serve. So I think the only requirements are really you have to be 18 years of age, you have to have a high school diploma or an equivalent, and you have to be either a U.S. citizen, a U.S. national, or a permanent resident. So I think those are the main three requirements. And I think something that we look for in our applications is also a passion to serve. So really like letting that passion show in your application is something that we also take into consideration as well. Let's see, what's the site to apply for the other positions? nyc.gov/serve NYC, but I see someone already answered that. So thank you. So yeah, those were all of the questions that I saw in the chat, but now we'll move on to like questions from the audience. If you want to come off mute or raise your hand, definitely feel free to do so. I know we have like less than 30 minutes left on the info session. So yeah, we definitely have time to get into like a lot of questions or anything like that.
So there's a question in the chat that says, can you please re-explain the position and program combo? For example, this position is for this program. I am interested in poverty prevention. And what is the name of the position to be engaged with the community?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in terms of, let's see, so if you're interested in poverty prevention, so I feel like a lot of our positions kind of have that angle to it. That's kind of maybe like the ultimate goal, even though it's not like the short-term goal, it's kind of like maybe more of a long-term goal. However, specifically for the anti-poverty program is our NYC VISTA program. It's the year-long program that I mentioned. So yeah, that's kind of the one that does more of the behind the scenes work and capacity building where you don't do any direct engagement with New York City residents. However, you also mentioned like the community engaged position, which VISTA does not do. VISTA does not do any direct engagement. So if you wanted to do community engagement, you can maybe do our NYCHA Health Corps program, our City Service Corps program, or our NYC Civic Corps program. There is an element of possibly of community engagement in VISTA if you're interested in building partnerships, for example. So partnering with nonprofits or other city agencies or other organizations, like that's something that is allowable under the VISTA program. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. I think what could be helpful if you're like kind of unsure about which program to go to, to apply to, maybe looking at the different host sites and seeing if there's a specific organization or agency that you're interested in applying to. Like if you really want to work with the Department of Health and the Department of Health and working with the DOHMH, Department of Health, maybe City Service Corps would be a better fit for you because they're actually one of our host sites. So can you apply for different agencies? Yes, Pamela, you can. In our application, you have the opportunity to list your top 3 positions. And so those positions could be either under the same agency or it could be under different ones. So for example, our City Service Corps program, you could apply to all of the positions under the New York City Emergency Management, but you could also apply to you could apply to one position at New York City Emergency Management, you could apply to another at the Department of Health, and then you can apply to another at the Department of Veteran Services. So you can definitely apply to different positions, to different agencies, I mean. Can you list the sites? Thank you, this is very helpful. Yeah, definitely. I think either Michelle or Al can list the webpage for nyc.gov/serve-NYC. So yeah, but yeah, we can provide that. Will we be provided with the recording of this meeting? Yes, this recording will be available on our website, and I can also email it to all of you as well. So you guys can have it just on hand, and you can have it. And like I said, it'll be on our website, so anyone else who may be interested can view it there. How much do stipend employers get usually for the position? Is it weekly or monthly? So the stipends are paid bi-weekly. So you receive the depending on the program, let's say 21,000 for City Service Corps or Civic Corps, because that's like kind of an even number. You'd receive this $21,000 you receive it bi-weekly. So it's in total, it's 21,000, but you receive it bi-weekly, if that makes sense. So kind of like a regular like paycheck almost. So like, yeah, like a regular paycheck, you'd receive, I don't know what the exact weekly amount is or the bi-weekly amount is, but it's 21,000 total for the 10 months.
Yeah, Joanne,
Yeah.
do you want to walk them through the website just to show potential applicants how to see information and like positions?
Yeah, definitely, I can do that. Also, I see somebody asked how many hours a week. Our programs are full-time, so 35 to 40 hours a week usually. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull up our website. And yeah, I'm going to share my screen as well. So just a second. Okay. So you guys should be seeing my screen again, correct? So on our website, you can go, so this is kind of like our homepage. And from there, you can go to National Service. And this is where you kind of get to see all of the pages that we the main programs that we offer. And you can go to get redirected to the different web pages. So here we have Civic Corps, City Service Corps, our Young Adult Success Corps program, which is not open yet. Our VISTA program and NYCHA Health Corps. So let's go to NYCHA Health Corps. Well, let's go to Civic Corps actually, because it's open right now. The application is live, I mean. So here you kind of see like what the application process looks like. So kind of like the different steps. And then these are our current partners. You can see the benefits, the requirements to being a Civic Corps member, and all the way here at the bottom is, or like in the middle of the page, I should say, is the open positions that we have available. So this is like the list. As you can see, it is very long. We have a lot of different positions open. So if you were interested in applying to one, let's say you want to like serve at Academy of Medical and Public Health Services, you can open the link here, which will redirect you to the kind of like what is essentially like a job description. And so you can see like the position, the number of people that that are required for this position. So right now this organization is requesting 1 member. That's mean only 1 applicant will be able to serve in this position. You get to see like the address, the kind of like the tentative schedule. And as you scroll, you get to learn more about the position. So kind of like the goal of the project, getting a little bit more information on the nonprofit that you'd be serving at, and kind of like read about their impact and the actual work that you would be doing. More specifically, you'd see kind of like the day-to-day tasks that you could be working on and when you'd be working on them. So for example, like said you'd be settling in for like the first month, and then for the next 10 months, you could be doing like managing day-to-day volunteer needs and things like that. And then we also offer at the end the preferred skills and qualifications that they might be looking for. So that could also be something that that would be of interest to you. Like for example, this host site is preferred skill is like being bilingual in Spanish or Chinese or Mandarin Chinese. So that is it's like, oh, like if you have that, it's like, hey, why not, right? Why not apply? But yeah, like I said, we have lots of different positions available. So, and they all kind of each focus on different things. So that's exciting. If you're interested in applying, right here, you can click at the application itself, the link, and you could type your email. You could enter your email address, and then you'd be sent a unique link to the application in your inbox. So from there, you can kind of go in, save, go in, start your application, and you can like pause, like you could save it as well, so that you can kind of save your progress and go back to it over the course of the next few days or the next few hours to kind of get your application together and things like that. Features of the application itself include things like short essays, so like maybe 500-word essays or short responses, I should say. So maybe if you'd rather like type that out on a Word document and then enter it in the application, that's something that you could do. So that's what's cool about having like the link sent directly to you, is that you could like save and continue whenever you, as much as like whenever you feel like you have the time. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. See, like hopefully that was helpful, or maybe hopefully not. It became more confusing. But yeah. I see some more questions in the chat, but I see that Alan and Michelle are kind of on it in terms of answering. So I'm going to open it again to questions and see if anybody has any additional questions. You don't have to just put them in the chat. You can come off mute as well or raise your virtual hand. Yeah. Well, I don't see any questions coming in. So what I will say is that if you do have questions that come to you after this presentation is over, you can email us. You can like email us at, I'll put the email in the chat, but you can email us at servicerecruitment@cityhall.nyc.gov. That's kind of our general email address in terms of all things recruitment. So, and we check it every day. If you're like me, you check it every hour just to see if there's any questions coming in or anything like that. So we definitely make it a point to try and be as responsive as we can. So if you have any questions that come up after this presentation, definitely feel free to shoot us an email and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. But with that being said, if no one else has any questions, we can end a little early. Oh yes, and thank you, Michelle. I believe you're the one who added the NYCHA Health Corps one.
Yeah,
if you have, yeah, go ahead, Michelle.
NYCHA specific, if you're interested in applying for the NYCHA Health Corps program, definitely reach out to the NYCHA Health Corps at cityhall.nyc.gov. Just because me and my team are the ones answering inquiries. Joanne is answering inquiries about the other AmeriCorps programs. So don't send Joanne an email about NYCHA Health Corps. If you have a question, reach out to NYCHA Health Corps at cityhall.nyc.gov. Yeah, me and my colleagues would be the ones responding. Yeah, thank you, Joanne.
Great, thanks for pointing that out, Michelle. I'm going to do one last call for questions. Going once, going twice. All right, no other additional questions. Well, like I said, if you do, please feel free to email at either service recruitment for any recruitment related questions or the NYCHA Health Corps one email for specific NYCHA Health Corps program related questions. But yeah, with that said, I'd like to thank all of you for coming on to this info session. I really appreciate you taking the time to kind of learn more about our program, the multiple programs that we offer, and we really hope to review your application soon. Definitely feel free, like I said, to send any questions our way, and yeah, definitely enjoy the rest of this day. Really great weather today. So yeah, thank you all. I'm going to stop recording. Yeah, thank you everyone again for just like taking the time. And yeah, I feel like it's safe to start logging off. So have a great one, everyone. Bye.